Good evening, YouTube. It's your man all the way to the page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. It's the first of the month. Grab your chicken. Come on. I got my check last week, and I'm already about broke. I got to pay bills, rent. This, oh God. Sometimes I miss having a real job, but you know what? If I had it, I wouldn't be able to do what I do and do it well. So, folks, it's already February, and I just heard the groundhog was up and about, and he saw his shadow. So we might get 16. It's a 6 weeks of winter. I don't feel like it here right now. I think it's like where I'm staying at in North Carolina. I feel like about maybe mid 50s, maybe early 60s. I mean, it's not that cold. I mean, one day with the laundromat, it was warm outside when I went back home. It was just I had to my coat so I could get a little warmer. But that's what it is, and everything with climate control, everybody. So, folks, we have a subject we want to talk about. And we know we talked about last week about the whole thing about pro status stuff with the pros, but also we're thinking this is a fan thing for me in fan fantasy. There's some competitors, who I feel like I wouldn't mind seeing coming back. I mean, making a shot at bodybuilding one more time. Some I understand they want to live their lives, that's fair, but some of these competitors I've seen, they're still in great shape. Maybe they start a prep, get into shape and really think about maybe take another shot at it one more time. But that's up to them. So, folks, I have some of my usual suspects. I have here one gentleman, you know him. He's from Female Bodybuilding Forum. Shout out to my man, David Bryan. Welcome, David.
Yeah. Hi, yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's always great. Guess you got a shirt on, so advertise your shirt, brother.
Oh yeah, I got a little FBB Forum shirt on there. Aha. And your shirt's kind of similar with the black and white. And yeah,
that's my Doc Holliday. I'm in my prime, sir. So,
nice.
That's Doc Holliday from Two Stove. That's a classic. I just love Doc. And Doc had a good friend. He's from Kansas, and that is the one and only Wired Up. I don't have him here, but I have my man from Kansas, my Wired Up, my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams, IFBB Pro Male Bodybuilder here in the house. Welcome, brother. We can't hear. Wait a minute, we can't hear you.
Oh yeah, we got you on mute.
I think he's on mute. No, wait,
he's on
mute. Let me see. Wait,
I got you.
Now we got you.
See, my basketball team were the queens. They're basketball queens.
Congratulations. And also this weekend, my big bro, his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, is playing for another shot for the Super Bowl title.
Three-peat, baby. Three-peat.
Like, you'd be like, I remember when Booker T said, five times. You'd be like, three times. So,
I didn't miss one game this season, which is rare for me because I have season tickets. I went to every single game and it was amazing. So I hope they can finish the job. It would be great.
I think they're going to get the three-peat. Yeah, they're just an amazing team. And Mahomes is unstoppable, man.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I know some people have issue with him. They pick on call him like, hi ho, I'm Kermit the Frog.
Yeah. Hey, I'll speak like that if I was worth $1 billion in a 7-time, went to 7 AFC championships and 5 Super Bowls. I don't give a shit how I speak. I can speak how I want.
Talk as you talk where you want, talk as you move. Also, we have here one of our gentlemen, my man Jeremy Remo, aka Mr. the female muscle, aka female physique fan, aka just this guy he's our oracle, he's our Merlin.
Yes,
we're the round table.
Love Jeremy.
So we bow to you, Master Merlin. We bow to you.
Whatever.
Hey, facts, bro. They're speaking facts.
Okay.
So, anyway, the subject about particularly, as we do bodybuilding, but also we can talk about other competitors. My man Keith, he is a fan. He is an IFBB pro, and I know he knows quite a few pros that I think he would love to see come back out of retirement, just as a fan. Or just seeing them how to do. But as you know, I am a fan of the ladies. It may not be the A's, but I'm still down with the ladies. And there's some ladies who I follow and who I've been a fan of for a long time. I don't know. I think maybe circumstances would be right for them. Would they ever consider returning? No, now you have the Masters divisions really blowing up. Now you have more divisions for them because back in the day, a lot of these ladies only had women's bodybuilding, and there was figure and also fitness, but particularly those divisions I think they didn't really like. But physique is a good division for maybe those ladies who are more mature, who's like, if you go back to like early days, like I would say a good part of 90s and 2000s, a lot of those ladies, like the Linda Murrays or Laura Craval's, now they're in the mold of people like you look at Natalia Cuejo, you look at Shanique Grant, you look at those women. And I think that would be the vision for them now. Actually, I remember somebody saying that the idea for physique was because of Linda Murray, because her physique was just phenomenal. So, anybody, like I said, if anyone wants to start, who do you want to see? If you could see anybody return back to the stage just for one more time, one more shot, who would it be?
I actually have one that's a little bit obscure, but she won the 2017 Nationals in women's bodybuilding, and her name's Fallon Brinson. And unfortunately, she never made her pro debut, but I just loved her look. She just had really pretty, and she was mixed race. She had just great abs and great pecs, and just really nice V taper and great back and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what happened to her. Unfortunately, she just never came back and competed again. There is a DD on the spot interview with her if you look up her name. But yeah, just I don't know if you guys remember her offhand. Maybe Jeremy, but she was amazing.
She doesn't sound familiar.
Well, Dave, just send me tell me her name if you spell it right. I'll see if I can maybe do a search for her.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
All right. Jeremy, you have anybody you think you would like to see come back out of retirement?
With these new rules, nobody. because based on the shit that they put out there, if they did come back, they'd be subjected, according to the rules that they posted, they would be in danger of losing their pro status. But as long as they stay in retirement, then they will be IFBB pros indefinitely, and they don't have to do all that crap that's talked about in the rules. So, if they did come out of retirement, a couple of people that come to mind immediately. One was an amateur competitor, Tracy Toth. She was doing phenomenally well. I mean, she was on the rise. She was like pro card material. I had followed her in her amateur competitions. She then went to junior nationals. I forget the year. I think it was like 2008, 2009. And she was amazing. This was when they had light heavyweights in the amateur division. Did very well. I mean, she had a wonderful physique. Then she decided she was a Michiganer. And she decided just for a lark to go to a powerlifting competition. She set 3 state records in powerlifting, the clean and jerk and the bench press for her class. She said at her first ever powerlifting show. So it's like she looked amazing. She was doing very well. But unfortunately, she, like so many others that I've come across, she just decided, what am I doing? Because I guess she got really disillusioned really quickly. Something happened as far as competition, I don't know. But she walked away, and I haven't seen her since. But she not only was pro card material, she could have been like an upper level competitor. I mean, she looked like Michaela Aycock before Michaela Aycock. So if that gives you an idea.
How do you spell her last name?
Toth, Toth, Trachcey. I mean, nice girl. I mean, just amazing physique on her. Great structure, wonderful proportion. She really could have done well, but she didn't. She decided not to. As far as the pro level goes, I've got 2. I would love to see Kim Chevesky. Yeah. If she was still in fighting trim, if she was still like she was back in her Olympia reign, then absolutely. I think not only would she do incredibly well, she'd be hard pressed to keep her Olympia title against the likes of Andrea Shaw and Ashley Jones, but she could still hang with them. If she was still in her 1996 to 1990 shape, she easily could be a contender for top 5, if not get the title all over again. But another pro that is in the same situation as Tracy, second she turned IFBB pro, she retired. Cindy Phillips. Yeah. She had an amazing look. I mean, she had a really nice physique, but since everybody talks about facial beauty, beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she, as far as I know, she was one of the girls that's being groomed for the face of FBB
Mm-hmm.
in the NPC. She was very popular because she looked really good, but she said that was it for her once she turned pro. And then it's like that so many other people, unfortunately, that when they get that pro card, they're done. Because they have no desire to do what it takes to be a pro and no desire to become a top level competitor. So they just walk. So it's sad that that happens, but I mean, those are the ones that I would like to see come out of retirement.
I remember Cindy. Yeah, she was really, really pretty. She looked so young too. She looked like a
She
teenager.
was. She was only like in her 20s.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think she was only like in her early to mid 20s.
I remember.
She's like,
go
yeah.
ahead. I remember.
Oh, she just reminded me of someone like Haley McNeff that I mentioned before. Both of these girls are very similar. So
yeah, I will to my big brother. You can pick anybody you want. You know, be it man or woman, because I know you know quite a few of these guys and competing with them on the stage and know these people. Who would you, if you would like to see anybody return for one more shot?
Females?
Man or woman, any one of them.
Female, it would be Linda, of course, because she's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, she's just absolutely gorgeous. She was for me, was the epitome of women's bodybuilding because she was feminine and sexy and just brought the athleticism and everything to the appeal of what I like women's bodybuilding, what I still think women's bodybuilding should be about. On the men's side, probably Ronnie Coleman, because he was just Samson, as they're talking about, is the next Ronnie Coleman, but that dude was just a worker. And I asked Chad Nichols, because I judge a lot of the shows. I said, what made Ronnie so different? Ronnie just worked harder than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He just was willing, and he started at the bottom, as a bottom feeder, and he was a guy who grinded us all the way to the top. And if you watch the video, it's like, I never bitched when I was 15th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 9th, 8th. And now, he's the best in the epitome of men's bodybuilding. And Linda was too. Those are the cornerstones. People talk about Arnold, and things like that. But when you look at Ronnie, you look at Linda, they were people who just were amazing in their prime, in their time. And those are two people I would just love to come back and see, because again, we're talking about the 90s era too. So we're talking about actual work, lifting weights, hard work, all the things that the bodybuilding is, not saying it's getting away from. I don't know if you guys have seen, in the off subject, I don't know if you guys have seen the thing that Tabor Gundy's brother just announced. He was like, I'm tired of seeing this fake muscle, meaning synthol, the oil injection.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
oh yeah.
I said, wait a minute.
I saw that.
And I looked at it, I said, I know legends from the 90s who use a lot of that shit. There's guys in the present day who use a lot of that shit. Ade Koopa, Big Ramy. There's some guys out there, like you can see it. I'm like, so what are you telling me? What you're telling me is that you're going to start deducting these guys for the fake muscle and not the real hard work? Is that what you're telling me? Because some guys are going to be fucked. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you're saying.
Also, well, that's so hypocritical, though. Sorry, that's so hypocritical. Because they'll get upset about something like synthol, but they won't get upset about all the fucking PEDs.
Yeah.
All the injectables and all the shit that they have to take. Well, we're going to focus on synthol?
And
really?
What he says is, because synthol, and you can see pictures of Hade, and you can see pictures of Big Ramy. I remember competing against Big Ramy at the New York Pro. I think I was 4th or 5th. And that was the first time I ever seen a man walk by me, and I was like, holy fuck, that's a big-ass dude. He wasn't in shape, but he was big enough to win, but you can tell the synthetic aspects of things that's going on with him. And even like people pointing out Hade Koopa, his shoulders, certain parts of his body where you can see that things are off. And that's synthol. And, I remember somebody telling me a story about Marcus Rule at the New York one show, and it was needles backstage. Like he had toop, and then you pump up and, and I'm like, so now you guys want to bring this shit up now? We're in 2025.
Right.
And now you want to sit here and say, we're going to start calling out the people with fake muscle. Well, no offense and all, and Jeremy, you are absolutely right when you say that to a degree. PEDs, but I don't know how I would say this. PEDs is a precursor to what we do, but the synthol enhances the muscle. Because if you look at pictures back in the day of like Kevin LeBron and Flex, the pictures of them, they had these round muscle bellies, and it almost made them look cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was synthol. And so, and if you look at some of the guys now on stage, you can see, some like and I won't say their names, but some guys, the more roundness to their muscle, because that's synthol. That's not fucking hard work. So I get it. But now you're going to sit here and talk about, we're going to start calling out the guys. I said, so you're going to call out Hadi was runner up to Samson. So you're going to call out the runner up at the Olympia this year for using that shit. Is that what you're going to do?
Right.
I can't wait to see it if you do.
Yeah. Anyway, we have here a man, KLA the Wanderer. He just popped in. Welcome, brother. Thank you for coming through.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I got some comments here. Hey, how you doing? We got some comments here from guys here. They're popping in. A lot of guys have their favorites here. We got here from man Warrior 2000, looking cool, Keith, with all the red on, looking like DMX. Love the shirt, David, too. Also, Warrior point one out that I think is pretty. I think a lot of guys would say probably would love to see come back. Give me a second here. Also it says Colette Nelson is a name I want to return, but it's probably wishful thinking because I follow Colette. I know she recently just got her nursing license a while back. She still looks in good shape. I know, ladies, I did an interview with her. She used to be a friend of her. I used to work with as a coach. That's Tina Wilson. Also, this is from Stefan Praise says Candy Canary is awesome. As you know, it was year before last. Candy actually made her return. She did the USA Championship. She took, I think, 4th or 5th. I was in contact with her for a bit, but I don't know what things going on. I think she's still. I think if I'm seeing her on social media, she's been on training. She's working out. She might be thinking of competing. This Candy is one example. Candy was just she's kind of like one person I think I put Candy in line with is with Tina Lockwood. Very great physique, very feminine, great muscle. She had size, but I remember a story with her. She got married and she became a missionary.
Yeah.
So she stopped competing after that. And then I think story was I was told that her husband got divorced. There was a miscarriage. She already had 2 children from a previous marriage, but and now she's coming back. Here we got another one.
Actually, Candy was a pastor. I thought it was interesting that she was a pastor and a bodybuilder, and she does look like she might return to competing. She was on my list that I wrote down of folks I'd like to see return too. So I agree with Stefan on that one. Sorry, go ahead.
Remember the girl Chris Morrell who never competed, turned pro but never competed. And she was. I remember seeing her. And I'm like, man, she would do so well. She got her pro card but never competed. It was crazy.
Yeah, I noticed she's in the comments.
My man. Because Chris Mayer says Chris Pereira didn't even get a chance to debut in the IFBB. Yeah, I remember Chris Pereira, and we keep talking about it quite a few times. She went off to start acting. She was in the sequel Grown Ups. She did a couple of stuff here and there. Also, this is from Warrior, and this is a good one. He says, and Judah Bichette is also another I was thinking about, but again, wishful thinking. And Judah was amazing. I always felt like this. Instead of splitting the title back in 2000, they should have just gave it to Andrew. No offense to Valentina. She looked good. I think Valentina was a precursor for women's physique. Even though she was competing as a heavyweight, she looked more like a lightweight. And even that Andruda was a lightweight, she looked more like a heavyweight. She's like, I think she had great muscle, great look. I mean, I always feel like that
my old coach Chris Bongiovanni. She was a great one too.
Oh yeah.
We know Chris. Yeah. I know she took some pictures with a lady I did an interview out back on Ina Unit. Ina, she had a great physique, a great body. I know she stepped away because of personal reasons, stuff like that. But that's I shout out to Ina. We still stay in contact as often as we can. We talked on IG. I think she's a great person to interview with her. This is a man from Warrior. Shout out to Warrior. He agrees you too, Keith. He says, um, yeah, Ronnie Coleman for me. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman is a great one. I think if I think about any guy, I would say if I go with a guy, I would say Flex. Wheeler.
Yes.
Flex. If like I know he lost his leg and stuff he went through, but Flex, he had a great physique, great mind. It's amazing. I mean, when I was really into the guys when I was younger, I think he was one of the great ones. We got my man, I'll tell mine and afterward, my man KL is, he doesn't so much follow the sport per se, but he is the fan of the Women of Muscle. So do you have anybody
What does that mean? Hey, break it down.
Well, you have to say you sometimes you don't know the names, and then
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but
I mean, one thing you mentioned Andrea Bluchette. I was into her like that. One person I would like to see come back. What was her name again? Yeah, it just slipped on my mind, yo. Like maybe Marge Martin. I would like to see come back. Alina Popa. That's Alina Popa. That was like my number one person that was in my head. Alina Popa.
What was it, 08 or 09 when she should have been Iris, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was like 2013, 2014 when she could have beat her.
Yeah.
Because in 2012, there was always talk that they say Demi Lovato should have won in 2012. And I think somebody said that she felt she should have won. But I would give Alina. I mean, I remember I got to see Lena in person. Keith knows Lena because Lena was Tina's coach for a good while. Right. And she mentioned she even mentioned that somebody said, hey, it told both her and Linda say, hey, you're a former Miss Olympia, you're a former Rise Phoenix champion, you can still qualify for Olympia. But Linda says, nah, she's not gonna do it. And Lena, she's focused on the business, she's a promoter, she wouldn't do it. She's really, I don't know, if it would probably take a good while for she'll get that muscle back that she had.
Well, here's the thing. They're smart because they know they're making more money doing what they're doing than competing. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yeah, we have here comments here from my man War 2000. Shout out to War. He's been here. Brother. The Kai Green should return. Yeah. He would really bring a lot of people to want to come to the Olympia if he competes. Kai Green, that's a great one. Great poser, great style. I mean, him and his rival with Phil Heath, that really set the standard for bodybuilding.
I think the two people, guys wise, who got trumped and never should have actually got Olympia titles was probably Kai and probably Flex, but never got their titles. That was two dudes that should have been rightfully Olympians at some point in time who just got railroaded, in my opinion.
Well, do you remember the what is it? The reporters meeting that one year with Kai Green and Phil Heath?
Yes.
How they went at it on stage?
Well, yeah.
And then it's like Kai was saying shit about Phil Heath's dad, who had just passed away. So it's like, and then, but also Kai, he went up there and said Phil Heath said, when did you win the Olympia? He said, last year. He said, really? Why don't you have a title? Kai still insisted that he won.
Yeah.
I was like,
Generation Iron came out. That was Generation Iron came out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the pre-show press conference that the two of them did. So if you ever want to see what I'm talking about, just look that up, and you can. They posted, somebody posted the whole go-between between the two of them. But I was like, damn guys, rein in the egos.
Yeah, well,
please.
I mean, you guys see the post where Kevin said how Weider explained to him why him and Flex and Sean never won a title because keeping them where they were making more money than being the Mr. Olympia because they can go out and do other shows. But if you ever get a chance, go to YouTube, Kevin LeBron breaking down why Weider never made them champions. Because Kevin had a right to be a champion at one point in time. Flex had a right. I would say Sean was a little too small, but he was always in the mix. But he explained to them, and I trained with Flex for a whole year. I moved out to California, and he told me when he left Weider and chased after the money, that's when Ronnie became the champion. And so, he said, if and this is quote from Flex, that was his biggest regret in his career, was chasing the money and not staying with Weider, and then lost the championship that next year
Yeah.
to Ronnie.
Yeah. It depends on who it is, because there was a scandal way back in the day, like in the really early 80s, with a female bodybuilder named Anita Gandol. She got in big trouble because she decided to do a centerfold for Playboy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so she got suspended for a year, and she got a fine. But the sad part is that she made more probably off of that centerfold than she ever made in her entire career as female bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So it's like fine, suspend them, fine, go into the fine. She's walking away with the money.
Yeah.
Think
about it, Jeremy. We're still talking about the money today, and it's not done. So can you imagine back then? Like shit.
Yeah. Wait, what about to say, Cam?
No, I was saying, why is it such a big deal? Like these women, they'll do other things outside of the sport, and they get penalized for that. And they're half naked on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't make no sense to me.
It's a big difference being half naked on stage and being completely naked in a magazine. Like Playboy is very, most companies have some.
Right. It was a nude spread. So
yeah, most companies has a policy, and really, you think about it, Playboy had the most women. Like China was in like 2 or 3 times. I know a couple of other ladies I'm trying to remember who did.
Pamela
Playboy.
Anderson. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Well, Pamela Anderson's not a bodybuilder, I would say, but yeah, but yeah, a lot of people did because it was about making money and also getting recognition. Yeah. Here we got another from my man Warrior Salad says, Juliana Monacarne, I would love her to turn in WPD. As you know, she's moved on. She's a mom. She's married, but
the funny thing, I just saw George pictures of her last week of her. I've seen. I remember George's picture I sent you of her.
Yeah. I mean, she looked great. She just.
She was beautiful.
Yeah,
she was Mrs. WPD for the longest time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So she holds the title 4 years now. Sarah has tied for the title. We got one from my man Chris here. He says, he just dropped. He says, Marcus the Comet Haley. I remember him from back in the day. Yeah. Great body, amazing physique. I think he looked pretty good. Also, he has another one here. He dropped King Kamali. He would have been epic return. I think he's now been coaching because a while back I interviewed a lady who was one of his clients. Now she's no longer his client. You just wish whatever. This is also shout out to Warrior says that was weird as hell in the 2000 Miss Olympia, giving the award to both competitors, Valentina Shapigin and Andrea Bachette. And that's the thing, because remember back then they decided to create the weight classes. Andrea was a heavyweight. Andrea was a lightweight, and Valentina was a heavyweight. And it should have just instead of just they just did like to split the baby. I think here's what it was. Valentina was a champion that the IFBB wanted, very feminine, great muscle, and Andrea was a champion that the people wanted, great muscle, huge, just amazing, and still. She was also attractive young lady. I mean, she was competing since she was a teenager. And, she came back, didn't get the title. They gave it to Julia Bergman. That was another return. She had to compete for nearly 13, 14 years, working behind the scenes as an official and a judge, and comes back and wins the title.
Hey, you guys remember Sarah Hayes?
Yes, I remember her.
Yes, yeah.
She's the last I checked, she's a professor now.
Hey,
she's like a teacher in weight training. Well, she has her she's a professor of strength and conditioning. I'm trying to remember of where it actually is, but she's done very well since her bodybuilding career.
Yeah, I trained her as an amateur, and I remember when she moved. She moved from Minnesota to Texas and got caught up with the Branch Warren scandal, and Trish found out.
Yeah,
what happened?
Well, Trish found out that Branch and Sarah were fucking around or something, and they got out, and so that's when Branch started coming out and acknowledging his wife and all this shit. Because I think, the Trish extended to Olive Branch and says, you fucked up, but you fuck up again, you're in trouble. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Sarah was a very, very beautiful woman. I I can understand, Chris Warren's not bad looking woman. I can understand why Branch did what he did because But here we got one from a man, Stefan Perez says, Alina Popo was great. Yeah, she's great. She could have been Miss Olympia, and I think it's probably saved it back in 2014. Also, Vince Taylor returned with his awesome routines. Yeah, I heard this. I was watching Tariq and Chris Camille. They talked about this. This kid had a great physique. I think he's been the Masters champion back in I think in the 90s. I think Vince was a great physique, great style. I mean, if he come back now, I don't know if he can come back now because I think he got to be in his mid 60s now.
What about Sheila?
Sheila
Black.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to see her come back.
Yeah,
Love to see her come back.
I would love to see her come back. I think she did that move. She went over the women's physique, and I think it might have been maybe the better move for her because she never really got that size. She's kind of
always conditioned.
Yeah, I put it like I did a comparison with her and Jada, and they just had that same kind of great, being that Jada was physique competitor, switch over women's bodybuilding, great lean, great definition. I figured I posted somewhere. Jada liked it, but she didn't like it too much.
I see.
Well, also Sheila got in trouble because she called out people.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes when WBB, especially at the Rising Phoenix one year.
Yeah.
When I remember she was like criticizing it because there were people, I guess, who copied her, some of the poses that she was doing.
Yeah.
And she is so into posing. She's like she's like Diana Dennis back in the day. She takes her posing very, very seriously.
Very.
And that's why she's such a good posing coach today. But then she said it's like people were copying her, not giving her credit, such like that. So I mean, it's unfortunate if that in fact is what happened. If that really is the case. It's like, geez, what a slap in the face that is.
Well, I follow some people that know her and said she's going through some medical stuff. Her and her sister Sherry was doing a little business together, and that didn't work out. I think she was living in right about Oregon, and then she moved to, I believe, to Vegas recently. What I heard. Here we get from a man, Curtis Jordan Jr. Curtis says Sue Myers is one I like, but she retired. Bogus dude.
Yeah, I liked her a lot. She's amazing.
Yeah. Also, Stephen Prey has another. He says Yabzini Orkini. Now she came back in 2020, and she still looks in good shape. I don't know if she wants to compete anymore because she's got a business now. She's focused. I heard that she got divorced a while back. Her and her husband, they were married. I think they got divorced a few years ago.
Then she had an injury. That's why she retired. Not to cut you off.
No, I don't think it was an injury. I think she just retired because she started a business and and running her own gym. No injury that I've ever heard of. Maybe, but I think she's retired to retire.
I heard that before, but I could be wrong.
No, it's not right because it happens like it. Sometimes you hear this story, hear that story. Some people just retire because they got tired of it, or they just injuries do come up. But then it's always how they feel this injury really might hinder them in the future if they want to come back and compete. If it's something serious, like a good example with Ronnie, his thing with his back injury, he kept competing, instead of getting surgery, and now he's
in the wheelchair.
The wheelchair. It's tough. Here we got from a man. Shout out to a man. Chris, he says Kai did kind of cross the line, mentioning Phil Heath dad. It was uncalled for, but I understand the tension. Yeah. Also, this is from Chris. He says, Zini was so gorgeous in the early 2000s. I think she had a great physique. Also, this is from a man Warrior. He says, Daylin Bailey, wishful thinking, but she would be a great return. She's still in good shape, but I don't think she can do physique. I don't think she can even do figure.
Yeah, she might be too small for figure now.
There are two women that just came to mind immediately. Since everybody says all about facial beauty, it's like, okay, two women that I would love to see come back. Sharon Brunel, from back in the day, absolutely. I mean, her last name Bruneau, stunningly beautiful woman. I mean, had a great physique. She would not be able to do bodybuilding. She would be destroyed in that because that was her career. I would say probably figure for her.
She actually,
So I would be. I mean, she would do. I think if she was in the same shape that she was then, I think that would probably figure would beat her division. But another one that came up is it's just like Linda, had an absolutely stunning physique, great overall package, nice mass, symmetry, proportion, and such. And also, since people talk about facial beauty, Gina Davis.
Yeah.
She was amazing competitor. Beautiful woman, had a killer physique. She's still very much in bodybuilding now in retirement. She does G-Force training. Is her coaching, and I think the thing that's really
she's at Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma. Right. And the thing I think is really cool, just looking at what she does, she and a whole bunch of other IFBB pros offer free posing clinics every month.
Wow.
At the gym that they work at the gym that Gina now does her coaching at. There's what is her name? I'd have to go look her up. But she's coached someone right now who's looking really good, and she just got her IFBB pro card.
She used to coach my boy Steve Kuklo.
Yeah. What I heard about her, and I've actually seen interviews with her that kind of confirm this, is that one thing I really like about her, she's no bullshit.
No.
If she flat out does not think you have what it takes, or if she thinks that you don't have the physique, she'll tell you.
Yeah.
She won't try to sugarcoat it. She'll just simply say, look, I've been in this a long time. I've looked at your structure. I've looked at your genetics. Or it's like, I've seen what you're able to do. This isn't either you are cut out for this or you're not cut out for it. She won't sugarcoat it. But I think in this day and age, I think that's a good thing because people try to soften the blow. And some people try to soften it to the point where it gets missed.
Yeah.
where the actual message gets missed. So when someone cuts through the bullshit and says, I will be able to take you up to this point. But that's just being honest. But that's what I love about her is that number one, she's a tremendous competitor. And number two, she's still very much involved in bodybuilding, giving back with all of her years of expertise, just now in a coaching capacity. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I actually, a while back, Sharon Burnell reached out to me. He sent me an email, and we were hoping to try to set something up for an interview. Maybe whenever she gets back to me, I would love to have her because I love talking to legends. Like when I talked to Nancy Lewis a while back, it was great. You know, Nancy still looks great, and especially she's in her mid-50s, she looks great. Here we got someone that my man, shout out to my man, Warrior. He says, "We wish you, Keith." He says, "Sheila Black. I was just thinking about her, Keith." Yeah. Also, here we got here from Stephen Prey. He dropped a couple of names here. He says Heather Armburst and Kazi Colum. Heather, I've seen Heather now. Heather looks like she could, but I think I heard that she's dealing with arthritis. I don't know. The posing will be kind of strange on her, but she looks like she's in good shape. She looks in good condition. You know, very attractive one, great physique.
She's gorgeous.
Who was the black girl with her name was Monique something? I think she turned pro at NASCAR.
Monique Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's retired now. Yeah, but I like her a lot too. Yeah.
I was stunned as to her again, her proportions. I remember she was on a interview with Giles, what's his name, over on Muscular Development on their podcast, and the thing that just boggled my mind was he even pointed this out. She said she downsized to 195.
Yeah,
she downsized to that.
Amazing.
From 200 220.
I just remember.
So one of the big one, but it's like that's my nickname for her is Big Mo Jones.
I just
because hey, it fits.
She had to wear glasses, and they had to take them off before she went on stage, and so they had to kind of walk her on stage because she's kind of blind as a bat. And they had to get her glasses back when she got on stage, off stage, because she can't see without her glasses. So it was crazy as hell. I'm like, it's called LASIK.
Yeah. Wow.
She had Monique had one, probably still to this day, has some of the best back development I have ever seen.
I had to
bodybuilder. She's like Paula Suzuki almost.
Who's this?
So that's her.
Monique.
That's Monique. That's her now. Wow. I mean, she's in South Carolina. She works quite. This ladies have done some interviews with that. Work with her. She works with Trey Hodge because Trey Hodge was a coach, And even though she has not competed, she still looks good. I posted stuff about her. She said thank you. I mean, great
I
look,
interviewed
great muscle.
Lynn Elm recently, and Lynn Elm is actually working with Monique as a coach and just a good friend too. But
I think one of those shots is of her back when she was in trim, and you'll see what I mean when it's like, I'm trying to remember where it is, but it's like it'll show all of it. It's just the sheer back development that she's got. It's just incredible.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I met her
think-
once at the Arnold Classic. Holy shit! When that woman hits a front lat spread, her back is as wide as a pole barn is long. No kidding. I mean, it's just it's a thing. It's a thing of muscular beauty. So she as a competitor, she's just absolutely amazing.
And why did she stop competing?
Just, I mean, we should,
You know,
personal reasons. I think
That's a good question.
I think it's personal reasons. You know, I think remember she competed in 2020 and she qualified for the Olympia. She was in top 5 that year. And then I think, you know, because I remember one time when when they said the dominant for rising Andrea, even though I love Andrea, Monique was most muscular. She should have got that.
She was one of the biggest ones out there.
She was one of the biggest ones. I mean, but she still looks pretty good. I don't know, maybe keep a couple of years, whatever, because, you know, come back and maybe she can try it. You know, she's trimmed down a little bit, you know, but whenever she's ready.
And again, look at her
the sport's
beautiful
going to be always
face.
here
She's
for
just feminine still. God.
Yeah.
Same with Gina. I mean, she never lost that. I mean, even when she was competing. So she did. I think she did a pro debut. Gina did, but I think that was it for her. She didn't do a lot as a pro. So I think she left because she didn't want to do what you had to do to be able to get really up there.
Yeah. Here we got a comment from my man Chris. He says, "I love Sarah Hayes." Also from a man Wardside says, "Debbie Linetsky." You know, yes, that was a great.
Lishevsky. Yeah. She's
Lishevsky,
another great competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, also get him man. Go ahead.
No, I said even if you see Kim Shaselsky today, man, if you go on her IG, she's still at her age, she's still banking.
Oh yeah,
she is.
And her son is following in the family footsteps.
Yeah,
he just competed, and I think he just competed and won. But it's like you got the genetics of like Kim and it's Nichols, right? Chad Nichols. I mean, you got that kind of a background and that kind of a genetics. How can you not do bodybuilding?
Didn't he at the Olympia a couple years ago getting Sean's face? I saw that video. Me personally, like this, boy, this is something between two men. You're this man and your daddy. I understand you want to defend your daddy, but that's something your daddy should have stepped up to do.
Yeah.
Boy, you know his place.
And the crazy thing is the youngest one that nobody knows about is a fucking stud at football. He's broke I think at like the age of 12 or 13, he was like bench pressing 405.
Oh, right.
And the funny thing, I was talking to Chad because doing shows, and all these parents, when you start playing football, like, oh, his kid's on steroids. So basically, Chad says, I'll put $10,000 down, and you put $10,000 down, and we'll do a drug test with my children.
Oh, wow.
And they all shut the fuck up. Seriously, they all shut up. So they're like, I was like, yeah.
Well, I saw Chad was in the hospital, but he had a stroke. How he's doing? I
think he's doing all right. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where training all the athletes that he was training in the high stress, you know, because like, you know, now here in this region, I found out from my opposing coach, Robert, that like Chad and Kim had a lot of shows. They only got 3 shows now. And then Jack Tatone has all the shows now. Mm-hmm. And I think because they just weren't promoting them well and they had great shows, they just weren't promoting them well. So they got 3 shows and then Jack has the rest right now because, you know, for some reason. Yeah. But it's not.
I know. I just interviewed Juno Garhire, if you ever know her. She did one of the shows. Yeah. And I'm interviewing a young lady who just did the in bikini. She did a show also that was promoted by the Nichols. You know, here we got a comment here from shouts to my man Vinny. Welcome, Vinny says, I miss Bronca and Michelle Jick. Bronca, the joke of it. Bronca, her body was crazy. I feel like they cheated her, you know, and gave hell. I'm a fan of Hella, but Bronca should have been third.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in contact with her. She's right now, her daughter just got married some time ago. She just said she's just going through stuff. She just, but she's still in great shape, especially for a woman in her 50s. I think if she wants to, and if whatever things get settled, took care of, she might come back. She just needs some time to really go through some stuff. I mean, she's family things, personal things. I think a coach passed away some time ago, but she had a great physique, beautiful lines. She should have been third. No offense to Hella. Hella should have been fourth that year. She still come back because she was the 2-time Rising Phoenix champion, but Hella, to me, Bronca should have been third, and I think she deserved that spot.
Okay, here's a question for all you guys, because you guys know a lot, way more about female bodybuilding besides KL probably. If you were to take all those names we just put into a bowl, who would be your number one epitome of what women's bodybuilding should be about today?
Gotta be Linda.
Out of all the names that you just mentioned, or all the names that we mentioned right now,
yeah. Gabby Linda.
I'm gonna go with Gina. I'm gonna go with Gina Davis. I mean, even though she didn't have a long career as a pro, I think she still looked great. I mean, all kudos to Linda, because I mean she's got the titles. I mean she's the same way. I just saw her on C.T. Fletcher's podcast. F y'all is the name of his podcast, and I just saw her. She's looking just as good as she did 30 years ago.
Wow.
So it's like stunning.
Yeah, David.
I'd like to mention one we haven't talked about yet, but I just love Danny Reardon. She was absolutely my favorite, and I was sad when she retired. I know she's probably not going to come back, but I just loved her look and her personality, and she was so fan friendly too. She loved the fans. So
yeah, but you didn't give me your answer yet.
What?
Well, he said what the
answer yet? I got
the bowl. What all the names you mentioned? You just mentioned Danny. All the names we mentioned earlier, other than Danny, who would you?
Unless the titles, like Linda has all. We understand that, but who would be right now in 2025 out of all the names we just mentioned? Who would be your girl that you say that would be the epitome of women's bodybuilding right now? Out of all the girls we mentioned.
I have to think about that.
It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, all those women, were such stunning competitors, so it's like hard to pick just one name.
I like somebody in the comments. I don't think we've brought it up yet, but I love Yolanda Hughes too. I did.
Oh yeah,
definitely one of my
right here. This is just his man Chris. He mentioned. He said Yolanda Hughes was doing backflips and cartwheels, twirls and stuff back in the day too. And also Chris mentioned another one, Lisa Lewis, the ebony Amazon herself, could move for a big girl. She kind of, I think she took one kind of
big girl.
Yeah, she was like 5'10", I think.
Contest weight of 180.
Yeah,
contest weight 180. So really big girl.
Yeah. KL, who would you, if like Chris, like just Keith mentioned, if anybody, because you could think of that really represent women's bodybuilding in your opinion?
I would say Linda. I mean, I know that's a common thing, but I think she just stood out, or maybe Corey Everson, because they just stood out for me. Like even when I picked up a magazine, I would mostly see them. So.
Corey was amazing. I really loved her, and she was a great ambassador for the sport too. I think.
Yeah.
Back when you were allowed to do longer than, I already mentioned this earlier, but allowed to do longer than 2-minute posing routines. She was astounding on stage.
Yeah.
Because she got really into it. She showed off her physique, but she made it so entertaining for people.
Yeah.
That's like Kai. Kai was just like. I remember guest posting with Kai in Sacramento. I'm like, I'm going on before you because I ain't going on after you, because the expectation of what the fuck you're about to do.
It's like I remember some comedians like, you don't want to go on after someone like Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy or Robbie Williams or
Dave Chappelle.
even or someone even like George Carlin. You know, you don't want to
Right.
go after the greats because you're just gonna die because you
Right.
know people they come in here and make you laugh, rolling the table, and then you come behind them and you just
Right.
imagine you being a comedian and coming behind someone like Bernie Mac. Remember, Kings of Comedy.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
how Bernie was last. You start off with
Mhm.
Uniqueness. That was DL. DL's not DL. He has his times here and there. Then you go with Steve. Steve's all right. Sam's pretty funny. But then you go, you know, there's my auntie said, the slut son of a bitch. You know, one somebody else said, he was thieving me. So you just, you know, I think will probably come behind Bernie will be Robin Harris. And you still be dying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robert.
Those could either change, Robin and Bernie. Here we got here a comment from a man, shot from man Quincy says, Denise Messina perhaps could return maybe. Yeah.
I liked her. She was one of the first to do like some really risque stuff too. I think, you know, like, I was like, dang, I was impressed.
Unfortunately, the IFBB didn't see it that way. She kind of sort of got in trouble for that sort of thing. But I mean, I mean, Keith, have you ever? I'm trying to remember the year that she did it for one of the big shows. Did you ever see her with that face mask that she made?
No.
It's like you should pull that up. She really went into this. It was really. I don't know exactly what the goal was there, but I mean she made it very artistic. I mean, it's just, but see, she also very got involved into the schmodem thing. She had a magazine like that, I think called Muscle Elegance, where she was very much into that. So
it had a lot of nudity in that magazine, right?
Right, but I mean, she was the editor, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, she got in trouble because of that.
Yeah,
because Mary Ann, her trainer was her ex-husband, Robert Messino, and she used to come and work and do the work with because these had her own little thing too. After that magazine ended, it was kind of like that was truly, I would say like this. It was, if you're a schmo, that was the penthouse of women's bodybuilding. If you're a fan of that, you know, women's physique world was like more like Playboy, but that magazine was penthouse. Or, you know, that was really, you know. And she did a lot of videos.
I remember I had an issue with that. Like back in the 2000s, early 2000s. I used to see them in newsstands, man, and then I was like crushed when you ain't see them the magazines no more. Yeah, man. I'm like, I remember one time, like I went there was this video store, and the listings it would like when you had picked up like a women's physique world magazine, they would show like the listings of the video stores where you could go and purchase like a video, like a wrestling session video.
Really?
And they would have listings of it. And it was
I still get leaflets from them I had ordered from there for maybe 10 years. I still get the leaflets in the mail. I got one
you do?
week before last. Yeah, I still get them.
Wow.
Like I said, I don't have a DVD player, so I don't, and the magazines, I got nearly half of them, just about most of them. But
the internet did it. That like, because the internet like closed that those stores down. Because one day, like I went to, everybody know I live in NYC, and the store that I wanted to go, it was in Manhattan, and I was looking for it, and I was like, where this place at? Like, what happened? I was like, yo, no, what's going on? I was like, crushed, man.
They had New Jersey, I think Chicago. I used to see they said the list of where they were addresses, but just like how movies are now, how Blockbuster and Hollywood and Gallery, those things, but it's because people can go the internet. Yeah, the internet killed a lot of the video stuff.
It was cheaper. I realized that it was more cheaper because them tapes they cost like $50, like just one tape. I mean, like I was sometimes I was like on and off for work, and I couldn't like get a tape every day like that. So I'm like,
well, yeah, it's like
2000.
God bless the internet.
one group that I loved reading back in the day, Women's Physique World magazine.
Yeah.
One of like
Yeah.
the really classic. I mean, they really didn't get. I wouldn't classify it in the same category as like Muscle Elegance because I mean they're dealing a lot with the competitions as well, and they're like report on what's going on. But I mean, it was still a wonderful magazine. They're still active. I mean, I found they're online. I mean.
Yeah.
So now you can not you can not only
They got-
download digital copies of every single issue of the magazine
Yeah,
that they did, but they also did a lot of DVDs themselves of people who are now famous. I mean, in bodybuilding, and all of those are available for digital download as well.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them are. So yeah.
But it's like,
So it's like,
Hey, Jeremy,
But it's
off
like-
subject, you want to know something? So there, I can't remember the guy's name. I just seen it. I gotta look it up. There's a new bodybuilding movie coming out with the guy who did Creed.
Jonathan Majors,
Yes,
Magazine
And here's
Dreams.
yes. Here's a problem I have with this.
Mm.
Jeremy sits there, and Jeremy always says this. When you put movies out like that, what do the people relate us to? PEDs. And this guy goes fucking crazy from the trailer I've seen of it. And I'm like, another bad example.
Right.
Is that what we really want to be depicting our sport as? You know what I'm saying?
right.
You guys got to go look at the trailer because, I mean, he plays, they said it's Oscar-winning a performance. That's how,
And Keith,
Okay.
but
and Keith, guess who's in that movie with him?
who?
Mike O'Hearn.
I know. Michael Hearn's
Yeah.
in that movie with him. And I said,
Yeah.
how, again, to make movies like this, even when they did the movie with Weeder, they had no drugs related to it. And when you relate a movie like this, and it's going to be very impactful, you know, even Generation Iron, we talked about it, but it wasn't shown. In this movie, they're showing it now. Like this guy is like, you know, and it's a movie, of course, but again, it's the affiliation with the sport.
Right.
that I'm like, like I said, from what it sounds like, the guy, the I can't remember the actor's name because he got in a bunch of trouble.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, because he was supposed to do a bunch of Marvel stuff and got in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is his comeback. But they said it's Oscar winning. I mean, I watched the trailer and it's amazing. But again, the only thing I thought about Jeremy when I seen it, I was like, Jeremy's right. We're never gonna get away from this.
Well, at this point, I take a look at it this way. I mean, it's like pretty much any topic that Hollywood takes on. You can either just believe what they say and realize every single Hollywood movie takes artistic license with any historical material ever. So it's like you can't always get your history. You can't get your history from Hollywood. I mean, you have to get that from the eyewitness accounts, people talking and such like that. If people are going to be so fucking lazy to stop at a Hollywood movie and assume that they've gotten a top quality education in bodybuilding, that's their intellectually lazy fault.
Yeah.
Because those of us who follow this know that they don't represent everybody. I mean, you've got genuine natties who are in bodybuilding who've never touched the stuff, who also love to bodybuild, and some of them put on really good muscle,
Well, and
both male and female alike. But I mean, if you're going to allow a Hollywood movie to dictate your knowledge on a subject, which really it doesn't do anything more than reinforce the stereotypes that are out there, which is why it's probably going to do well because people already believe this shit.
Yep.
So I mean, if you're not prepared to go deeper and you're not prepared to get the straight shit from people, that's their own lazy fault. And you can't do anything about it.
And the funny thing is, remember, Michael Hearn to this day says he's natural. So to do a movie like this, it's gonna be like, what? You know, it's like, really? You know, you sit here and say that you don't do gear, which I don't know if he does or not, because Dalen Bailey said the same thing, and all you can do is take a person for face value. But yet you're playing in a movie like this where the gear is a part of it, you know, so it'll be interesting. You know, it'll be very interesting. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys because I've seen that. And I wanted to,
well, I was going to bring up something earlier when we were talking about synthol. I'm assuming you may have seen this already, but did you ever see that video of I try to remember, I think it was like an African competition or something like that, or like in another country, where it's like they all hit a rear double bicep pose and the guy's arm bursts.
Oh my God.
And it starts leaking.
Remember
down his arm. all over the fucking stage for it. I'm like, oh my, it's all synthol.
Remember,
So it's like, I couldn't believe that.
What was the guy back in the East Coast? Valentino?
Oh, that Greg Valentino. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got here somebody here. I mean, Raheem Hamilton is here.
Oh,
Raheem. Raheem's here. Raheem's in the building. Tony, just saying, seeing the crime.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah. We got the comments. Yeah, how you doing? We got some comments here. We got here. This is from Emmanuel. Shout out to Emmanuel. He says, I hope Amanda Michelle Patak Falstead can return. Well, I know Amanda, she's thought about it, but I don't think she's really interested in doing it because a lot of stuff is going on. We had her last time she was on here live stream, and I think she's focused on live. Also, Chris dropped a name here. He says Christy Hawkins. And I remember a while back, Christy, actually, she posted something. Like she had renewed her pro status and back with her 2022. And I thought she was going to return and compete too. But what she's doing mostly now, she's doing a lot of powerlifting competitions. Remember, she was young when she got in the game. I think she was like in her early 20s. Here she is with Jumbo Dave Palumbo. She looks in good shape. She runs her own little company. A little biomedical company. That's what she's into now. I think maybe I could see it. She's doing a lot of powerlifting. That could put on the side. She can compete with the bodybuilding women now. But could Christy return?
No.
No.
Nobody can return. There's no money in it. That's the common factor.
Yeah. But
it's not. These ladies understand that. Again, I tell my business partner all the time: if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. The ladies are making way too much money what they're doing now to put their body in that kind of risk and jeopardy.
Yeah, but like I said, that's the thing. It's just possibly because she wants to, but if she's got her business on and she just enjoys doing powerlifting, but I don't know, guys. She just looks she really put some size. Would she hold weight now with some of the women competing in the IFBB if she did ever come back?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
The sport itself. Okay, let's just say I'm just keeping it real with everybody. The sport and the landscape is dying. You got TV deals that's going on with the NBA. Now NBC is kind of regretting that deal they made with the NBA because the NBA is declining. NFL, it's there, but it's not what it used to be. Bodybuilding, it's just DOA on arrival. It's been because here's the thing. The thing about the Jim Emanuel and them, they not promoting stars. This is what people need to understand. I keep emphasizing this, George, and I keep emphasizing to Keith and everybody. No one outside the bodybuilding universe know who is Mr. Olympia, Miss Olympia. Let me tell you how bad the sport is. You have 3 women who are Miss Olympia, and they all hail from the state of Michigan. You don't promote that. That's a big deal. Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn because New York is going to claim him, even though he was raised up in North Carolina. But we can claim to North Carolina. Yeah, you got him when he was a kid, but he was born in Brooklyn. God rested that Aaliyah. Yeah, Detroit. You had her, but she was born in Brooklyn. You have Linda Murray, 8-time Miss Olympia, Michigan. You have Iris Cal, 10-time Miss Olympia, Michigan. Your current champion, 5-time, Michigan. And you drop the ball. Like, you don't promote them. You talked about the movie that this guy's doing, and they keep focusing on steroids, because guess what? If you don't have other bodybuilders that's coming out from the 90s and the 90s and the 2000s who are a bona fide star, Hollywood's going to look at the dark part of bodybuilding. That's the saddest part. As much as y'all hate Vince McMahon, but damn it, he created WWE Studios to say to his wrestlers, hey, I want you to branch off. I don't want just you be a wrestler. I want you to be a movie star. If it wasn't for WWE Studios, Dwayne Johnson would have just been a wrestler. You see what I'm saying? He let his wrestlers go out to Hollywood. You know, prior to Dwayne Johnson hosting Saturday Night Live back in 2000, the last wrestler to host Saturday Night Live was Hulk Hogan. After Dwayne Johnson, it's John Cena. Now all these wrestlers are not doing anything because what they're doing is they're catering to the small casual, just like with bodybuilding. This is why they was doing all that stuff, was talking to the bodybuilders. They gotta pay up to do bodybuilders who don't re-up their card next year. There's the money's dead. They keep catering to the small fans. And it's, you know, I mean, I hope that one of the bodybuilders, whether it be male or female, said, let me go rogue. I'm going to go into Hollywood. I want to go and start doing acting. Let me be a background actor. Let me do something so people know. Because like I said, it's a damn shame. You have 3 women who are Miss Olympia and they all hail from one state. You all hear state of Michigan go, hey, state of Michigan, home of Irish Cow, 10-time Miss Olympia, 5-time Miss Olympia, your girl, and 8-time Miss Olympia, Linda Mary. That's a damn shame.
It is.
You know,
but the thing is,
it's a shame.
But you said again,
Here's the question to you, Raheem. Why do you think the state of Michigan is not doing that?
No. I'm not talking about. I said Jim Emanuel should promote it. Guess what I'm saying? Though,
but
even though,
you know as well as I do, he's not a fan of the women as much. He should, but you know he's
then
not.
why? Yeah, then why? Okay. What about Jake? Jake should do it too. That's what I'm saying. Regard Jim, Jake. The ball has been dropped. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. This is why young people, just when they do bodybuilding, they just do it for fun, like I do. I just do it for fun. I do it to keep myself healthy. The reason why people are not stupid, they understand that the shows, like you said, you gotta pay this amount of money for what? There's no guarantee I can win this money. Why am I paying all this money, air flights and hotel? They don't. It's not even about the steroid thing. It's just about why am I paying all this? I get nothing out of it. You know, and it's getting ridiculous.
But then again, most people do it because they love it. You know, it's anything, like my man keeps it, it's a hobby sport and they love it. And some of the ones who are the lucky ones can make a living off of it. The lucky ones, that's what it is. But if you get in the sport, understand, many of them understand what's involved in it, and they still do it. You know, bodybuilding may seem like it's gonna die, but as long as there's people who's willing to go out there, who got into because of personal reasons, like I said, you like to work out, you like to bodybuild, you know, that's them. But you know what? As long as the people who's willing to take that time, make those sacrifices, it's going to survive as long as there's people who's into it. Like,
yeah, but
brother,
that's the case.
Yeah, right
Sorry.
Who do you want to see? No apologies. Who do you, if you forget all the bullshit, who would you want to see? If you were being a fan and following the sport, who would you want to see return? I'm asking you.
You want to see me? Who I want to see return?
Yes.
Honestly, in a perfect world, if it was a good promotion, I don't know. Let me see who retired. Okay, Colette Nelson.
We just had that. That's a good one. You know, let's mention that. Right here we got Warrior. He says this. He says,
Yes.
Alicia Young, I'm crossing my fingers for her to return. There's a lot of stuff going on. I heard that she did some bottom thread or something like that, and she's in some issues. But if she ever gets her shit together, she still's in good shape, good condition. People liked her. You know, she had a great look to her. You know, busty, big muscles. You know, people like her. Also, here's one that I'm a fan of. About to pull this one up. It says, wait, sorry. You know, take this in my computer acting up. It says, Brenda Ragnon. I remember Brenda. You know, beautiful, great physique. I think great potential. Here's one here. This is from Warwick Down. Says, I miss was it Kira Newman in the WPD category. I'm hoping to return for her. I think she's done. I know I saw something with her. She doesn't want to compete anymore. It's kind of like Danny Weirden. I just saw my man Glenn interviewed her a while back, you know, and she's doing more to that chanting stuff, a lot of more to spiritual stuff now, so she's not focused on bodybuilding.
I got one, George. What about Monique Jones?
We just mentioned that one.
Yeah, we mentioned her already.
I came late.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I came in late. So
yeah, you came late. You're late to see the crime. Here's one name, one of my favorites, Laura Craval, for my man Chris, for me. Yes, Laura Craval. I remember when she came back in, was it 2000? It was just not the same Laura Craval. She was competing lightweight. She just lost a lot of muscle. I mean, just wasn't the same. I mean, you know, she's been a runner-up for Miss Olympia title a couple of times with Linda. Was in top 5 with people like Corey. And when she came back that year in 2002, it just wasn't the same Linda Murray. I mean, sorry, Laura Crayval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess something I was going to respond to Raheem about is that here's the thing. I mean, you're right. I agree that there are problems with it, but I mean, even if you did promotions like you were talking about, home of 8-time Miss Olympia Linda Murray or 10 times Olympia IFBB Pro Iris Kyle, even if you promoted that publicly, here's the reaction you'd get. What's an IFBB Pro?
Yep.
What's Miss Olympia?
Yep.
What is professional bodybuilding? Quite simply, what the hell are you talking about? Because, I mean, most people in the world not only have no idea about bodybuilding, they flat out don't care about it. They just simply don't. So, I mean, even if you did promote it, even if you heavily promote it, it still wouldn't do well because, again, it's coming back to what we were talking about earlier, Keith, with this movie. That's people's perception of it.
Yep.
That's their perception. And before you can do any successful promotion, my humble opinion, you got to counter the programming that's been going on in the media. People have to speak up about it and say, hold on a second. You've heard all this from doctors. You've heard all this from people who have a problem with bodybuilding. Now you need to hear it from us. You need to hear it from the horse's mouth about what's really going on here. So before you even can do any type of successful promotion, you have to get over the programming that's been media-induced programming that's been going on for the last 40 years. And that's like a titanic task that you have to accomplish first. Otherwise, people aren't going to give it the time of day because the media has constantly said this is all drugs, this is all people doing illegal shit, and that's people's perception of bodybuilding. And because of that, they don't want anything to do it. So you've got a lot of steps that you have to first conquer before you can even do any successful promoting. Like the last big thing in the media were those articles in the Washington Post. Did you see that series that was there?
Yes, I did.
About the expose of that. And notice what it is. They're reiterating the same shit they've been doing for 40 years.
Yep.
And that's people's perception of this. So it's like not only do they not care, but when they do get exposed to it, it's the same. It's happened so much now. I know the narrative by heart. It's psychology, steroids, sessions. Psychology. All these women are involved in bodybuilding because of deep-seated phobias and psychological trauma. That's the psychology part of it. And who do they always truck out for that? Men and women alike? Dr. Pope. I can't believe he's still alive. And he says the same shit over again. Is that they say, oh, well, they're just trying to do this because of their psychological problems. That's number one. Number two, PEDs. Every single woman who engages in bodybuilding is on some type of substance. Even the ones that aren't. Even the ones that have never touched the shit in their entire lives. And third, sessions. All female bodybuilders engage in session work. All female bodybuilders have an OnlyFans, yada, yada, yada. That's the media narrative on women's bodybuilding. It's happened every single time I've seen a show about it. So that is what people perceive as bodybuilding. So you're right, Raheem. Promotion would be a good thing, and that would be great. You just got to get the 99% of the planet who's not even interested in it or not even aware of it, aware and interested. And that's a long haul, man. It's
you're right.
Really long haul.
I will be real quick. I'm going to let Keith talk. You're absolutely right. The problem I said time and time again, they dropped the ball since Arnold. They dropped the ball. You don't have to have everybody to be the face of the media. That you just pick one or two person out to promote the sport as it is. They dropped the ball. The promoters dropped the ball, and I agree with you. And you're absolutely right. Now everybody do see it as steroids and sessions. But whose fault is that too? Because they could have put a lockdown and say, okay, if y'all are going to get your pro card, no one can have an OnlyFans, male or female, or nobody can do sessions, but they didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So now that's the because now that's out there in the media now, and that's out there with people. So now when they see a female bodybuilder, they're gonna be like, oh, she's gonna give me some sex, and it's sad, but this is what's happening.
Well, the other
Now,
sad, the other sad thing is, Raheem, if you did do that, if you penalized everybody in female bodybuilding who did anything like an OnlyFans or such like that, competitive female bodybuilding, as you know of, would shut down. Because, like it or not, that's how a lot of these women pay for their competitions.
Yeah.
Is by doing shit like private one-on-one webcamming or live sessions in hotel rooms or such like that. That's what funds this.
True.
I don't agree with it necessarily for everybody, but I mean, reality is that's how women, a lot of these women, this is how they fund their bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, if they got more money for it, like we've been hammering that point home here over and over again, they got better prize money for it. They got more financial incentive for it. They'd have less incentive to go and do those things. But if you want to be, for men, not all. I mean, obviously there are women who do bodybuilding, have never done a webcam or done anything like that. There are women like that. But for a lot of these women, that's how they fund this, whether you like it or not. So it's like, yeah, they're exposing it. So it's like, yeah, the media exposes it. That's what pisses me off is they don't tell the whole story. They tell this part of the story, that they tell the part of the truth that sells. But they don't tell the whole truth.
That's life in general. That's the world we live in today. So that's not just bodybuilding. That's just the life we live in today. We see a tidbit of something and everybody fucking runs with it instead of actually doing their due diligence and actually digging into the root of the problem. And that's just the world we live in. And again, if you really wanted to get insight on what the sport is really all about, again, I tell everybody, watch the movie Bigger, Faster, Stronger. Chris Bell put the most enlightening, enhancing spin on what the sport is actually about. People living in their cars, people sacrificing their time, what drugs are all about, people trying to start supplement companies, this, that, and the other. When you do that, when you watch something like that, and I know it's a documentary, but it's a true documentary. I know Chris, I know his brother, and they do very well for themselves. It gives you a depiction on what, I always tell people, about gear is a precursor, to what we do. And I say, you can do it or you cannot do it. It's a choice of yours. I said, but, somebody asked me like, do you run all year long? I go, fuck no. I take time off. My body needs a break, but it's my job, and so I have doctors, I do tests and everything else to go along with it. But I also tell people that you need to be educated on what, even if it's not me or somebody, you need to educate yourself on what the hell you're listening to and what people are talking about to make you understand what our sport is all about. And that is a problem, Raheem. You do have a point when it comes to the IFBB and the NPC dropping the ball, sitting there saying, why don't you guys really educate these people? Steve, here's a prime person that, in my opinion, could have been a great face for the sport, and people loved him, was Kai Green. People loved Kai. You can sit down and Kai will talk to you the most intellectual way possible, open up his life to you, open up his journey and everything else. But again, we are independent contractors for the IFBB. This is not like the NFLPA, which I'm a part of. This is not like the MLBPA, where my son is a part of. It's not. It's your survival of the fittest in this sport. The one person, like I tell people, that has impressed me by what he's done in 4 years is Samson Duoff. Just got a brand new fucking house, has a contract with Redline, so he just got him a brand new Bugatti. Has about to open up his own gym. I mean, the guy's doing big things, but he has marketed him and his wife for him, and that's what bodybuilders as a whole we have to do for ourselves, because the NPC or the IFBB is not going to do it. If you don't do it for yourself, it's never going to get done. And again, I went up to, I don't know, I did this experiment. I told you guys like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and I went up to like several people and I said, do you know who Andrew Shaw was? No. You know, I said Gilman was? No. Do you know who I think Derek Lancaster was the champion at the time? No. Do you know who C-Bum is? Absolutely. How they know who Chris Bumstead is, but not the rest, I don't know. I have no idea how this. I mean, and you walk around my gym, every kid is wearing fucking Gymshark. Now, Gymshark is C-Bum's brand. I don't know And he's not a big marketing media person, and maybe he is, and I don't see it. But his name is the biggest name in our industry, and he's the quietest person. It's the craziest thing ever.
I
Every
could tell you
young
why.
dude, every young kid at my gym, and Crunch Fitness is a big ass place. You go up to him and ask him Chris Bumstead is, or C Bum, as everybody call him. Everybody knows who he is. You ask him who Samson Dua is, they won't have a clue. Seriously, it's
I could
crazy.
tell you why. I could tell you why. It's because when they win the Mr. Olympia or Mrs. Olympia, they go and disappear into the night. That's it. See, that's what I'm trying to say. When you're a champion, when you win championships, right? People know who you are. The San Antonio Spurs were the most boringest team, but people will say, "Oh yeah, they won in '99, 2003, and 2014." Yeah, but they know who the San Antonio Spurs are. You know what I'm saying? What I see is if there needs to be some type of thing to say when we crown you Mr. Olympia, Mrs. Olympia, it is it's a right for you to be at every media circuit. If it's podcast is the biggest thing right now, you should be on every podcast show. We want to get to know you. You know what I'm saying? So all
Well,
those
wait a minute. Not
questions.
to cut you off,
Okay, go sorry. Oh yeah,
but
wait, hold on,
not to
Keith. I
cut.
want to congratulate. Wait, Keith, I want to congratulate you on your son being an MLB. Just all I say.
But here's the thing. He's signing with New York actually, so he's going back to
Oh,
New York.
congratulations.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Samson Dua, follow him. He
Hmm.
promotes his like even when he went to go buy a Bugatti or whatever car he has, Lamborghini or whatever he has. When he went in the first time, he said they disrespected him. They didn't blew him off like he couldn't afford it. Now they're giving him a car every fucking year, a free one every year. He gets traded car in for a year. Not only that,
Nice.
Hostel, Celsius, but this guy, I follow him every day on social media. I follow him everywhere he goes. He has promoted. So when you said they need to tell, he knew what his plan was before he even became champion. He was doing. I mean, fuck. How many guys besides Samson have won the Olympia and is competing in the Arnold Classic? He's 5 weeks out from the Arnold Classic right
Not
now,
that many.
but not that many. And the reason, and Samson's not stupid. He sits there and says this, and I do, and I'm not. I'm. I would say if I was in his mind, I would say this. I'm doing the Arnold Classic because the Arnold's worth $1 million this year.
Mhm.
And now the Olympia had to bump up their money because Arnold, remember last year, announced that they're bumping up the prize money for the Arnold. So what is Jake Woods going to do? Now you're going to sit here and say the Arnold has more prestige than Olympia, even though it's an Olympia title. I'm going where the money is. And he's like,
Facts.
I'm hot. He looks amazing right now, better than he did at the Olympia last year. So he's doing the Arnold. When everybody was bitching about Samson doing all these shows last year, because he did a show right before the Olympia, he did after Olympia he did shows. He did 3 or 4 shows last year. Everybody's like, well, why this top 3 guys? Because he's chasing the money, but he also puts himself out there for people to follow him, to see him, to see who he is, and he markets himself well. He does that, not the IFBB. He does that. The IFBB will throw their little spin or say something about him every now and then, but he markets himself well. And this is where we talk. This is what we talk about on this channel all the time. The problem with women's bodybuilding is what? Raheem, you just said it. They hide in a gym. They don't talk about anything. Even when I watch Go to the World Championships, they stopped doing a video, I think 2 years ago, and they make these videos. Hi, I'm such and such. I work out. Hi, I'm such and such. I work out. Well, no shit. Tell us a little bit more about yourself than that.
Yeah,
And
because
Keith, I'm sorry to interrupt. And Keith, you gotta remember, and what everybody been screaming. Oh, Shaq goes to the bodybuilding shows. He supported you. You talk all these celebrities going to your bodybuilding shows to support it. You had Danny Garcia, Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife, at a bodybuilder competition. Instead
Yes.
of getting mad at her because she's competing, you should be like, as a female competitor, you should be like, oh shit, I want to be an actress. This is a good opportunity. Let me be nice to Danny, and she can sign me to $7 production, and I can be out there in the movies with Dwayne Johnson. And you're absolutely right. Listen, George. You love Andrea Shaw. I would love for her to come on your show, but she wins and she disappears, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you're not doing nothing and you become a 5-time, 6-time champion, people won't get tired of you. They go like, yo, she's boring. Why is she still champion? They're gonna start looking at other people. They're gonna start looking around at the next woman and say, okay, maybe she's not big as Andrea, but guess what? She got a great personality. She will go and do podcasts on her own to represent the sport. We don't have to tell her. She knows what to do. That's what I keep saying. It's sooner or later that's gonna happen because it's dying. It's
remember
dying.
the 1 year Dexter Jackson said, I'm not an ambassador of the sport. I'm just a bodybuilder. No, you're an ambassador of the sport. You're supposed to be promoting the sport. And guess what? He only won one title. I mean,
and the other problem is that this is just a theory of mine. I mean, it's just what you said, Keith, but also what you were saying, Raheem, is that, yeah, CBum is known in gym culture.
Yep.
And see, gym culture is its own little microcosm.
Yep.
Just like all bubbles. It's like people think but the thing is, you stay in a bubble long enough, you get a distorted sense of reality.
Yep.
So people think that CBum is this great guy, and he is. I know his name. I don't know anything about that other than he's a popular competitor and he's won a lot. That's all I know about.
Yep.
But I mean, it's like in gym culture, CBum is the shit.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding CBum is the shit. Yep. If I took CBum, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll stand by this. I take any IFBB pro, from you, Keith, to Tina, to Andrea, to any of them, and take them out on any street corner of any major city in this country, and I have them say to the first 100 people to come along, "Hey, I'm IFBB pro such and such," and hold out your hand to shake them. 99 out of 100 people are not going to know who the fuck you are.
Nope.
They simply won't. And that's from Mr. and Miss Olympia on down. They don't know because they don't care. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. It just is the truth.
When I go to Chiefs games, people associate me as a football player. They don't associate me as a bodybuilder. They look at me like, you should be on the football field. I said, many, many years ago, I was. I said, but not anymore. So when people see me and my presence, they're like, you should be on the football field. They have no idea. Then I say, well, I'm a pro bodybuilder now, retired 8 years ago. And they're like, oh, okay. But, you can look at their face and understand that they really like, well, what the fuck is that? And then I have to say Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they're like, oh, that's how crazy it is.
The reason why people know about Arnold Schwarzenegger is because he has a personality. This one to say, I'm sorry, Jim, I'm going to just cut real quick. Arnold has one thing, charisma and personality. This is why only people remember bodybuilding during his time. Everybody could have been moved off of him from the 70s, 80s, and 90s and up to today. If guess what, the bodybuilders that you pick had a personality. Like I said, you had Shannon Sharp, had Ronnie on, right? You had, as much as people don't like Joe Rogan will welcome them on the show. If you don't know, that's the thing. You have to go on to podcasts and shows where people go to, so they know you and they can understand the sport. If you don't do that, this is what the conversation we're going to have.
I'm going to say this right here. I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. I'm not a fan of him personally. Stuff he did, and whatever she did. But I can understand that part. Here I got some comments because these guys have been wanting to chime in. Here I got here from a man, Stephen Praise says, Zoe Lindsay was awesome. That's a name, yeah, great.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Also, we got here from Chris Mitz. He says, Danny Reardon was a sweetheart. Love her personality, her witty humor, and her silly antics. Oh, that's pretty good. And I got one more here that we got a bunch more, but I want to get to as many as I can. We got here, this is from a man, Emmanuel says, Jeannie Pepperone could return. This is why I put, if you look at the video, that's the name. This is one of the names, one of the people I in my favor, I wouldn't mind seeing returning because, Jeannie, I mean, she is, can you believe it? She's in her early 50s and still looks like she can compete. Now, she hadn't competed since, I think, the good part of the early 2000s. And she did this when I posted it because I tagged her in my IG. She took the time and she shared it on her social media right here. And I said thank you. I mean, I've been talking back and forth with her on social media. Maybe someday I get her on here. She, even though, like I said again, she hadn't competed since the 2000s. she still looks like in good shape. She's a coach and trainer. Actually, I interviewed one of her former clients, as Lisa Balesh, who turned pro in figure. But now Lisa is now going to make her pro debut in bikini. But this woman, you look at her, and she is unbelievably in great shape. If she was competing now, probably she has to do physique. Yeah, and do it in the master's class, because but she, just unbelievable, great shape, in just she barely aged. Just one thing I also liked about her, one thing she never did, like a lot of ladies did around about the 90s and 2000s, she never got breast implants. She stayed great conditions, great shape. She never bit the wheel of silicone. And just I do appreciate what she did in posting that the link in my post. That's a friend of her, Dolly, and Dolly, she competed back in the day, and she lives in Vegas. But I'm telling you, she still looks like if she ever wanted to return, all she got to do is just pick the show, get ready for it. She might have to see if she has to maybe requalify as a pro because she had competed for almost 20 years, or she maybe still get her pro status. Another name I'm going to drop, and somebody I'm a fan of, is the marvelous one, Margie V. Martin. And I know Margie walked away because of for personal reasons after the last Olympia. And there was also an issue where she posted a video on her YouTube channel, but it was taken down by YouTube because they got a strike against her because of the NBC IPB said something. But Margie, even though she still looks in good condition.
Here's the thing. It's just, the one thing I think about this whole entire time when we have this discussion is this. When I first met Joe Weider before he passed away, or Joe, and Flex said, hey, because I was in training with Flex, and he says, Robin Chang and Flex Magazine wants to sign you. And he goes, don't be freaked out when Joe tells you to take off your clothes in his office. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, he wants to see what you look like. That's what he does with all competitors. Then he breaks you down. Where I think the ball, Raheem, and you're absolutely correct on this, and Jeremy, you are too, is Weider's vision of, if he was still alive and his brother was still alive, the vision that they had is not the vision that we're seeing right now, because the sport was blowing up at the time that they were doing all these things, and you had Flex, you had Ronnie, you had Sean, you had Kevin, you had all these great, and that's why the 90s was so great. And then after the brothers passed away, it kind of went backwards. You know what I'm saying? Because Weider's vision, when he came out with the weights, when he came out with the home weight room sets, and people like, he was selling them in stores, and people like, you're nuts. And everybody has a weight room in their gym or got the weights or whatever case may be. And he wanted to open up a gym and got them. There's a gym on every corner in the country right now. He was a visionary. And I don't think that that our sport has those visionaries right now when it comes to what we're doing. And that's the problem of why this sport is got to a standstill. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's way different.
Their ultimate vision, and they said this time and again, was to have bodybuilding in the Olympics.
Yep.
Yeah.
They wanted it to be recognized officially as an Olympic sport, and it crushed them when the IOC said no.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were devastated by that. But also Raheem was just going to say, you're absolutely correct when it talks about promotion. That's why George is constantly wanting to get these women to come on his show, or also in conversations like this.
Yep.
They're constantly wanting that to happen. Now, me personally, I've had a lot of adulting I've had to do over the last couple of months, so I haven't been able to interview anybody other than Tracy Jones. I've only been able to interview her. But still, it's like you want to get them out there. But the thing, you're absolutely right, Raheem. The problem is that one of the big problems is that, they will do podcasts, but only on a bodybuilding show. So they stay within the bubble. They stay within the community. What you have to do is to get on a podcast that is A, popular, but B, is in the public domain. So
Well,
it's like
Raheem said,
going to something like Joe Rogan would be huge, would be
And Joe would,
absolutely massive for
and
bodybuilding
you
or
know,
whoever
crazy
that
thing,
person
Joe.
is.
And the crazy thing, Joe, I know George, you don't like Joe, and I'm not saying that, but he's just a big name in podcasts. But Joe will bring them on. You know, he will do that. He will like, yo, because even though he talks, he's inquisitive about the sport. He'll be like, okay, yeah, we talk about the dark side of it, but let's talk about what's the positive side, and he'll let you get that. Same thing with Shannon Sharp. Shannon had Ronnie Coleman on.
yeah,
He had Ronnie
yeah,
on. So what?
yeah.
The problem I have, and I'm just going to say this: the problem I'm having is hearing the athletes saying this sport drains me out. This is why I have to do sessions, da da da. But before you got into the sport, I know someone told you, hey, this is a poor man's sport. There will be times where you're going to have to pay more. You got to take more money out than you want to get back in. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Because
Hey,
if you
no,
were
no,
ready,
no.
no, I said
Nobody
it.
ever
I
told
said
me that shit, and I
okay,
wouldn't.
okay,
Nobody
okay.
ever
So I
told me that
apologize.
because I tell people this: if I
Hmm.
knew what I knew now, I would never compete. I would
Okay,
because if you
okay.
say
I said correct. I
I'm a
said
winner.
correct.
I'm a winner. I've won in track. I've won Super Bowl rings. I've won in high school, and this is the first sport that I have to subject myself to, be in my own recognizance,
Mm.
to sit there and let 7 to 10 judges judge me, and you're talking to a 3-time runner-up at USA's Nationals before I turned pro and subjected myself to that shit. But my competitive nature was, I'm not a fucking loser, so I'm not going to quit.
Okay.
This is a goal. If I've accomplished everything in my life, Super Bowl rings, world championships, state championships, All-American titles, I can do this. And so it was a goal and a challenge to me. But if I would have knew what I know now, how subjective and political the sport is, I probably would have pulled my reins back and put my interest someplace else. But again, I didn't know.
You know what?
I had no idea what bodybuilding even was. I didn't follow it. Nothing. I just said I'm retiring from football. Too many concussions. What am I going to do next? So I started lifting weights.
I stand corrected there. But it would be great to see a bodybuilder on Twitch. You know, they'd be like, you'd be able to see, okay, oh wow, look, Mr. Olympia on Twitch. We playing with him video game. You know, that's to get, and then they can get paid. Then they can get paid because you're like, okay, bodybuilder's not paying me. Let me get on Twitch. That's a gaming site. I like playing video games. The kids, you know, I could promote the sport of bodybuilding on Twitch. You know, and kids and people will be like, oh, he's a cool dude. You know, or she's cool because she has a personality. You know what I'm saying? It's all about having a personality. If you win your Mr. Olympia, you just go into the dark of night. Everybody gonna be like, well, I don't know who she is because guess what? She don't say anything. She doesn't
That's
say
Right.
why I
nothing.
said.
You're right.
That's why I
You're
said
absolutely right about that.
if you were to have a person who was the most similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger to put out there, it would be Kai Green. He's in Mortal Kombat. He's done Stranger Things. He has his own shoe brand. Kai Green makes more money now not competing than he does competing. Because again, him and Dalen Bailey, and I'll keep saying this because I know this for a fact. They said, I am going to use the sport for what I can get out of the sport, not what the sport can get out of me, because I understand at the end of the day, the sport does not give a shit about me. It gives a shit about their pockets. Because all the money that we're talking about is not going into, it's going into some of the athletes' pockets, not all the athletes' pockets. Like Raheem, you said it, we all know it's a poor man's sport now. So where are all this money going? Because there's a lot of money being made out there, but where is it at? It ain't going into the athletes' pockets. I can tell you that right now.
And you know
Yeah,
the funny thing is,
But if you
Kate-
want to have somebody
Andrea
like
Shaw is gonna be like Al Bundy when she retires. They're gonna be like, yes, Andrea Shaw, I won 5 Miss Olympia in one game. And they're like, because nobody gonna know. And you know what? No. I'm saying that. No. I'm saying I'm just saying because, well, bro. What I'm saying is because remember, Al Bundy only scored 7 touchdowns in one game at Polk High. And only people at Polk High know.
It was four
Touchdowns. That's okay in one game. But you only know because the only people who know is those who went to Polk High. The only people who know Andrea Shaw won 5 Miss Olympias are the ones who seen, and that's a little bit of people. That's what I'm saying. It's sad. It's gonna be a sad day.
Right. Part of it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, I got some comments from here because I got these guys that got the comments. I gotta get them out here. These guys come here on my channel. It says Warrior 2000 says Bonnie Priest. Also, Warrior also mentions Annie Rivicchio. I had the pleasure of meeting her a while back when I was at Savannah. Lovely lady, great physique, amazing body. Also, this is from man Stefan Prey says, I remember Max Muscle Magazine. Also, this is from Chris. He says, Diana Cadot. That's another good one. I mean, and one more from Chris. He says, or maybe Sarah Dunlap. She didn't compete that long, and I think she deserves more time to compete. I reached out to you a while back, and we never get anything got together. I think she had a great physique also. And this is another one. Was both lady, both beautiful, great physique, and she was married to Lee Priest, and that is Kathy Lanfrancois.
Yeah,
I was a huge fan of her back in the day. I would like to see her compete one more time. I remember, I remember a while back she got married. She married some other dude. He's a regular looking dude. Great physique, pretty eyes. She has some pretty eyes. Great. A big fan of Canadian bodybuilders. Here's one, and this is from myself. Says, Love Isabel Terrell. Isabel, but Isabel, she's, I seen her. She was doing a video where she's deadlifting, and she's wearing this top, and all you do is staring is her. The titty meat hanging over the top.
And it's all natural.
And all at high. And she's doing that. If you notice, she's doing it at high heels. She's doing that at high. She's doing that in high heels.
And she's sexy at doing it.
Mm-hmm. I met Isabel 3 or 4 times at shows because she for a time was an NPC judge at the shows here in Indiana. So I got to meet her like 3 or 4 times, and really nice girl, and of course knows everything about bodybuilding back to front, which is why she does so well when it comes to being a commentator or doing her own podcast stuff. She does such a good job.
True story.
She still do that TV show?
No, they don't have it anymore because that was with Wings. That was with Wings of Strength, but they don't have it anymore because Wings of Strength now owns Olympia TV. But true story, I was there when she came back and competed in Savannah. She was sitting right in front of me, and I didn't want to bother her. Part of me wanted to reach out and say hello. It was nice to see you, but I didn't want to bother her because she was there. That's something I always regretted because it was my first time there. I didn't want to bother too many people, but I always wish I should have said something to her. She was there. Also, later I remember I was there. Amy Richardson, and she died next year. I think that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She was there with a booth with her husband because she was competing women's physique. I should have went over there and talked to her. But like I said, it was my first time. I was at awe, being here, being there, talking to her. I was talking to people here and there, and just but that's one of my regrets. Here we got here from my man. Shout out to my man, Emmanuel. Did anyone say Rosemary Jennings? I wish she could return. She looks pretty good, and she runs her own company. She helps train other people. If you go to, I have a Facebook channel called For the Love of Rosemary Jennings. I post pictures and videos on that. You just go to Facebook and put in For the Love of Rosemary Jennings. I think she was just beautiful, great physique. Her accent. Remember she was married to Fanny Barros' husband Alex, and then they later got divorced.
And y'all know I'm going to shout out my coach Melanie Speckel because she fucking was. I seen pictures of her.
Yeah.
I seen pictures of her, and I was like, her conditioning. Holy shit! I was like, I've never seen shit like that. I was like, it was insane. I was like, that's crazy. Well,
yeah. I'm gonna throw out something real quick to the chat because I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know if I want to consider it a gauntlet being thrown, but Warrior 2000. When are you coming on the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
When are you actually? I mean, you come in the chat all the time. You've got good comments to make and such like that. When are you coming on the show? Here's a challenge. Here's a challenge to Warrior 2000. Next week, next Monday, come on the show. Come on the show.
Black bears or tigers or whatever the hell. We get your ass on the show.
Yeah, we got a comment from Warrior. Warrior says this. He says, I'm sure Raheem has one particular girl that he wants to return, Miss Natalia Cleverlova, aka his girlfriend who is inconsistent.
She will be Miss Olympia this year.
Hell no. Also, Warrior, he's going to tell you again. I know I keep messing with you on Natalia, but you know how you always post about her in the chat. Yeah. Also, we got here from man Chris. Chris says, 2002 is when Laura came back. Yeah, I remember that. Also, we have
Warrior
your man.
answered the question. Warrior
Yeah.
answered the question.
Right. Are you coming on next week? Because it'd be
Well-
great to have you.
Yes.
It'd be great to talk with you.
Well,
You
I'm
can.
looking forward-
You don't have to show your face because I don't like doing it too. Because most people don't want to see a mouth that has hardly any teeth left in it. So that's
I
why.
want you
So that's why I don't use an. That's why I use an avatar. If you want to do that, you can do that too. If you don't want to show your
Yeah.
face, but dude, we'd love to have you. You're here every single Monday, so we know you got the time because you're in the chat every week.
Yeah.
So when are you coming on?
And he's in my interviews. He was in my last 2 interviews. Not the one I had on I think it was the one I had on Sunday, the one I had on Saturday, and the one I had on Friday. Here we get a comment from where he says, I know wait, this is another one. No, this is yeah. This is from KL. It says Raheem don't have to know the names of the women, and you all love him. Not like we love him, we can't tolerate him.
Natalia is the type of woman that you want to get down on your knees and thank God you're a man.
Oh God. Because you can look up.
Let's clarify that. That's the one that you want to bow down to and say thank God you're a man. Let's clarify that. That's not necessarily true for everybody.
You.
That's not. That's not a bad thing.
That's not a
bad thing.
Okay.
She'll say, "Bow down to me, man," and I was like, "Yes, I will."
Oh, you talking about me? Here we got him. KS says he's the promotion and the management. I forgot. Also, this is for KS says the women have to stand out. That's true. There's something to do stand out. You just got to really put themselves out there and not be afraid about putting themselves out there. I says I meant 2 women got to stand for any talk show host to pick them up. Yeah,
and back in the day they did. Back in the 90s, there were Montel Williams, big
Jenny
fan
Jones.
of women's bodybuilding. Jenny Jones. I didn't like Jenny Jones because she just made them like circus freaks.
Yeah,
I didn't really like the show.
Geraldo.
Yeah, but I mean, they had talk shows. They were on talk shows all the time. Linda was there. And then also something that they don't have today, ESPN. They had regular coverage on ESPN of the national level shows, Miss International, Miss Olympia. They had a show there called American Muscle Magazine, which featured men and women alike. All that promotion is gone.
I can tell you what happened with ESPN.
We keep talking about ESPN, but I got my direct TV on right now, and I can flip, and there's a million other Fox Sports. You know, one of my channels, because I bowl, so Fox Sports is like have cut the PBA. There's so many more sports networks besides ESPN that we're not talking about.
Fox Sports
outlets that we're not talking about. That
but Keith, Keith, you gotta remember. You said okay during the time Bodybuilder was on ESPN. The Weeder brothers were alive. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they was promoting. After they passed away, the people that charged up, they're not doing it. They could do it, but they don't want to.
No,
that's the thing.
Actually, dropped with all the bodybuilding before the brothers passed away. It was right about, I would say, a good part about the mid 2000s because Benji died in 2015, and Joe died about 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah,
but Disney bought up ESPN. That's the only reason why bodybuilding got dropped, because Disney bought ESPN in '95. Yeah. So when Disney bought ESPN in '95, that's when you start seeing them pushing either bodybuilding shows way back in a different time slot, or they took it off altogether. It wasn't ESPN's. ESPN was about sports. So when they was by themselves, they didn't care. They promoted it. But it's just the acquisition of Disney. That's what decided. That's what pushed it out.
ESPN is a cut fucking throat sport network. There's some great athletes that they've had on their show that they just cut their contracts, for no reason or for various reasons. There's a shit with Michael Irvin when the girl went up to him in the lobby and said some shit, and next thing you know, you didn't see him on the Super Bowl. Everybody didn't know what happened. ESPN, they've cut a lot of great people that they have on their TV shows now. So imagine, with the controversy sport is bodybuilding, they're not touching that. No way.
No, you're right. They won't do it today. Again, it's because the media has been reporting on steroids and such like that, so they won't touch it. But back in the day, they did. But you've got these other you've got these all networks that are available. Do any of them have the same reach? Is ESPN?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do.
not even close. So that's why you always try to shoot for the best one. Same thing with podcasts. I mean, you don't want to do the local stuff. You want to be able to go on
Well,
stuff like Joe Rogan. That would be
well,
ideal.
and again, you guys talk about Joe Rogan and all this stuff, and Raheem, I think would agree with me on this. Here's the thing: you have the Tampa, you have the New York, you have the New York, you have the Chicago, you have all these fucking shows. All these are big markets. Why aren't these promoters like a Tim Gardner or Steve or any of these guys going to these news network and outlets saying, "Hey, the Chicago Pro is coming to town. The Tampa
Exactly
Pro is
right. Exactly right.
so then you broaden the spectrum of people who are already coming to show to bigger, because people like, I remember Comic-Con was right across from the Tampa show that was the New York that they have during COVID year. And it was huge because people were like, Comic-Con, and people at Comic-Con like, well, what the fuck? What is this? So they were
Right.
coming in to see. I said, so
Right.
I'm a communication major. So when you use mass communication to get it out there, it becomes bigger. But we don't. And
Right.
that's the problem.
And I've said this before, I'll say it again. You can also use the method that's been tried and true now for 60 years, and that is stage a Muscle Beach. Find some well-traveled thoroughfare, bring out a couple of weights or bands or such like that, just like those women that I meant, those Brazilian women that I mentioned, and have a training session. And so you're going to draw a crowd. People are going to be interested. Right there, you got an opportunity to hand out flyers and say, "Hey, show up at the show." Guarantee you're going to have a better outcome or better audience than you would if you didn't do that kind of promotion. And Keith, you're absolutely right. They shoot themselves in the foot every single time. And it just boggles my mind they don't take advantage of that. Because just doing that would help a lot.
Yeah, we got here.
Sorry.
We got coming from me and KL. We just lost them and Kiki back. Raheem, why don't you make a documentary on these women, not just you, but the panel? Okay, take some time. You want to follow us? That's a good. And now I say, with Al Bundy, Andrea Shaw. No, it's not. No. I love Al Bundy.
Might I add is when you do these Muscle Beach shows or these events, you should pick the best and brightest of the bodybuilders who will actually interact with the crowd as well. Because if you're going to get people who are just standoffish and don't want to interact and talk to the crowd, then they're doing a disservice to the sport itself. So
you're right. You're absolutely right.
Well.
But either they don't think about any of this shit, or they have thought about it, they don't implement it. They don't take advantage of what is there to help promote the show in the city, not in the bodybuilding community in the city proper. That's how you draw people to the show. That's how you put butts in seats. And they don't do it. It blows my mind. Well, real quick, can I respond to a comment that Warrior put on here? That he said, we'll see Jeremy as soon as I get a webcam, I will come on. Warrior, with all due respect, that is not an excuse. I don't have a webcam. I went and I bought a $10 microphone from Walmart. Plugged it into my computer. That's what enables me to do this. So if you got a microphone, you can do exactly what I'm doing right now. So you don't need a webcam.
And like this, you can use your cell phone. Most people, like I do interviews.
Right.
You do cell phones. You don't need a computer or I got a laptop. I got one of those webcams to wear back, but I never liked how I looked and didn't like everything. How so I usually just generally use my the webcam on my computer. We got a few more comments here. This is from KLA. He says, yeah, I would be interested if you can come on, Warrior. Yeah, he would be, but it's up to you, Warrior. We can't make it. Well, folks, a lot of the guys are going out.
Yeah,
I do have
I'm
one
going to
more,
as well.
Yeah, I do have one more name I'm going to drop that I would say I would like to see come back and compete, and that is the 10-time champ, Iris Kyle.
Yes, I would too. I would too.
I will honestly love to see her come back because Iris, no matter how much people say they hate Iris, she really was a real champion. She really worked
Sure.
hard. I think her training regimen was really, outstanding. The debate is always going to be, it's going to be always pointing fingers of why, it really blame how women's bodybuilding changed because of her. But actually, and truthfully, it started with Kim Zavetsky
I
when
agree.
they said, it
I
set the
agree.
new rules. But now she's, working training with people. I know people have worked with her. Maria Lieberman, she's worked with her. And like for the Olympia this year, last year she had let anybody come in here who wants to work out, and train with her and train in the gym for free. I know her, Marika Jones. Marika Jones hang out with for a little bit. I mean, she's doing, and she's promoting the Masters Olympia. What it would have been kind of great to see her maybe come back and do that show. I know maybe we have someone else promote it, and because it'd be unfair if you're the promoter of the show and you compete. It's just me left here now because everybody else has left the building. I appreciate my brothers coming through here. Shout out to y'all. But we was gonna talk another subject, but you know what? We'll save that for next week. That is something. If you saw what's going on, that is going to be great material to talk about. But I appreciate all y'all that were here and your comments and your support. There are some amazing women. This is a picture that Davis told me about. Was it Fallon Branson? That's her. Wow. I think I remember seeing her before. And it's just her hanging out with Tracy S. Rugged. And I interviewed Tracy a while back. Tracy's no longer piece in the IVB. She now competes in the PCA. Tracy has a great physique, great lines, beautiful woman. She's a mom, a trainer, a coach. She trains a couple ladies that I know that the interviews with. But this is just a fan thought. And we really got some deep into some stuff that's going on in this sport. I think, it was great conversation. I do appreciate y'all coming through. All the ones who came here and made the comments. Warrior 2000, man, just cut the bullshit, Warrior. Come on here. We really, all you gotta do is use your cell phone. You don't like Jeremy said, we have to see your face. We just want to hear your voice and get your thoughts. You're here about every Monday. You hear my interviews. Come on. We really this is why I do the channel, for not just for myself and other people, for you fans who have some points you want to think. Like I said, the comment I leave, that's why I leave the link in the comment section. So if you want to click on like Raheem does, I'll send it to Raheem. It's in the link. He clicks it. And so, but anyway, I want to appreciate my man Chris Mids, Stefan Prey, Raheem coming through here, Emmanuel, all you here, Vinny, I thank y'all, Curtis. Appreciate you for coming through here. I know there's plenty of ladies there's so many of them, great women that represent women's bodybuilding, and just great men that represent bodybuilding in general. And it would be great to see them come back if they ever feel like they want to come back. The sport's here, always going to here for you when you're ready. It's not going anytime soon, but I know living life, take care of yourself, the cost of training, all that's involved in it. But go ahead and do what you want to do. But if you ever feel like the time when you want to come back and step into the stage one more time, take the time off. Do what you want to do. We would love to see y'all just as fans. This is a fan thing. But I do appreciate my brothers are coming through and supporting me. I do appreciate all the people who was here. Can you believe it? We're already into February. Time is flying by. Says, here it says, I had to come back on because I lost my signal. Well, if you got a signal, like I said again, Warrior, all you gotta do, if you have a cell phone, you want to see your face. We just want to hear your voice. We want to get your feedback. And also, let me know what you want me to talk about. I got a subject I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about for this, but we're so in depth to this situation. We're going to use that for next week's Muscle Talk Monday. He says, once I get a mic and a webcam, I will come. No, don't use that excuse. If you have a cell phone, you are on YouTube, because you have a YouTube account, That's the only reason why you can be able to come on here. You have a YouTube account. You have a cell phone. You just can come on. You don't need a webcam. You have a mic. A mic, that's all you need. You don't need a webcam. If you don't want to show your face, that's cool. We want to, that's up to you. But stop using that excuse. You can use your cell phone. Cell phones work just as good. Just all you gotta do is while you're in the comment section, click the link. I leave it, I pin it for anybody who wants to come in. You're on YouTube, you got a YouTube account, click the link and come in wherever you are. Raheem does it all the time, just about. I don't send Raheem a link. I pin the link up there for him. He comes in whenever he wants to come in. It's an open door policy if you want. So that one time we had that guy come in that was doing that last Sunday talk. Oh my God, that was a weird guy. What the deal was here. The whole thing, I understand, but I let him talk for a little bit and then I have to kick his ass out. But thank y'all for coming here. Thank my man Big Keith Williams. Thank my man KLA the Wanderer. Also shout out to Raheem. Shout out to David Brown came here for a good bit, and also shout out to Jeremy, the art of female muscle, femme physique fan. Maybe things get better when he's less adult and he can come back and start doing interviews and stuff. Really, you guys really inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing. I really appreciate that. And ladies out there, you don't have to just talk to me, a small time podcaster. Get out there and talk to other people. Go to do the View. See, reach out to the View or somebody like that, or the Talk. Do something. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Don't people criticize you. Fuck them. That's all you can do. Just fuck them. Live your life. Do what you want to do. We are fans. We respect you and we admire you. We want you to see you do great things. That's why I have this channel. That's why I have the podcast. This my man Warrior says, you want to hear my opinion? No excuse. I will come on when I have the chance. Yes, okay. That's an excuse still. You come on when you have a chance. You just make it another excuse. So shut up. But anyway, folks, I appreciate y'all for coming through. Shout out to everybody out there. I hope you enjoy the rest of this. As you know, this is Black History Month. I'm going to do some stuff on my YouTube dedicated to the lovely sisters. And also, I might do a little thing, Valentine's Day for suckers. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I say, what is it? It's Valentine's Day is I think the Friday, the next Friday. So I might do like an anti-Valentine's Day special. If you want to come on, guys, we'll just talk about stuff as guys, talk about fawning over women. I mean, just let me know. You're always welcome guests on my channel. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all and enjoy the rest of your week. This is your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe. I'm out. Have a good evening, good night, good luck, and God bless.